Hello, this is Max. Shredder wants to take control of people using a mutagen, while the Ninja Turtles oppose him. Don't forget to subscribe. The opening scene at the harbor, where we meet a determined reporter named April O'Neil. April is persistent in her pursuit of information related to the chemical materials that the Foot Clan may be involved with. She, along with her cameraman Vern Fenwick, embarks on a journey to cover a story on trampoline fitness.
So we're gonna squat down and flap your wings.
While Vern is content with these lighter stories, April yearns to report on more significant and impactful news. She contacts a man at the docks to request information, expressing her desire to interview him. The man on the phone assures her that one of his associates will meet her at the docks to assist her. April learns that something significant is being transported through the docks and decides to investigate at night. She arrives at the docks on her bike and witnesses the Foot Clan, led by Lieutenant Cry, making preparations to transport a mysterious cargo. April attempts to capture footage on her phone, but a shadowy vigilante figure emerges and systematically takes down the Foot Clan soldiers one by one. The figure leaves behind a distinctive symbol that April recognizes. Excited and intrigued, April shares her discovery with her roommate Taylor and also reports it to her boss, Bernadette Thompson, at work. However, nobody seems to believe her or take her seriously. Instead, they mock her, and her boss dismisses her claims. The movie continues with an event where the spotlight is on a man named Eric, an influential personality with a large lab. His mission is to save the world from the evil forces that threaten it. Eric addresses the audience, expressing his commitment to creating various innovations to ensure the safety of New York City. The scene then shifts to a man with his hands bound behind his back, facing off against a Foot Clan soldier. The man easily defeats the soldier, revealing himself as Shredder. Cry reports to Shredder about the vigilante activity and stresses the need to stop these non-human creatures. A woman, who appears to be the real boss, confronts Shredder, expressing her frustration and demanding stronger recruits for their team. Shredder is determined to assemble a powerful team to achieve their objectives swiftly. April is also present at Eric's event, where she is impressed by his vision. She aspires to make him her role model. It becomes evident that April and Eric are familiar with each other because April's father used to be a colleague of Eric. Eric approaches April, praising her work as a reporter and encouraging her to pursue a bright future. The NYPD decides to collaborate with Eric to eradicate the Foot Clan once and for all. After the event, April and Vern drive home, witnessing the chaos and terror among New Yorkers on the streets. April decides to investigate and capture the events lived for her reporting.
Okay, let's rock and roll, boys.
She approaches the scene where people are being taken hostage by the terror group. April tries to remain inconspicuous but is grabbed by a foot soldier and thrown in with the other hostages. Cry, the leader of the Foot Clan, threatens to execute the hostages unless the vigilantes reveal themselves. Just as Cry is about to harm April, the Ninja Turtles arrive, capture the events on their cameras, and swiftly confront the Foot Clan, freeing the hostages. In the midst of the chaos, April is unable to capture any footage herself. Determined to capture the Ninja Turtles on camera, she climbs a fire escape to the roof, where she startles the turtles and takes a picture. The turtles confront her, causing her to faint.
It's just a mask, right?
When she regains consciousness, she meets the 4 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, and Michelangelo. They reveal their mission to protect the world from evil forces and warn her not to disclose their existence. April manages to keep a distance and snap a picture of the turtles before they leave. She rushes home and begins examining a box of documents, pictures, and videos related to Project Renaissance. These documents are associated with her father and Eric's work. She discovers a video of herself as a child in her father's lab, where she used mutagen on the turtles and Splinter, naming them and feeding them pizza. April recognizes the symbol she saw earlier as meaning family and reminisces about the good times when her father was around and she played with the turtles and Splinter. The scene shifts and the turtles attempt to return to their lair without Splinter learning about their encounter with April.
Because of you, won't have to worry about me.
Despite their attempts to keep their encounter with April a secret, Splinter eventually catches the turtles and interrogates them about where they were and what they were doing. The turtles initially remain silent, So Splinter punishes them by making them balance on various items until they confess the reason for being on the streets. Mikey, unable to resist the temptation of pizza, admits that they were fighting the Foot Clan. Splinter becomes furious and demands to know if they were seen by anyone. When April's name is mentioned, Splinter becomes alarmed and orders the Turtles to find her.
Find the girl. Bring her here.
April continues her investigation into the Turtles' past and reports to her boss, Thompson, about what she witnessed the previous night. Unfortunately, Thompson dismisses her claims as madness and fires her from her job. April leaves the office and turns to Vern for assistance, asking him to take her to Eric Sachs. Vern takes April to the Sachs estate so she can speak to Eric personally and inquire about what her father and Eric were working on. She reveals a photograph of the Turtles to Eric and informs him that she encountered and spoke with these Turtles, who refer to themselves as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. April is bewildered by how such creatures could exist. She presses Eric for information about her father's work. Eric leads April into a room and proceeds to explain his own past, involving a journey to Japan, abandonment by his father, and the discovery of a legend regarding a ruthless warlord in the area. He informs April that if she ever encounters the Turtles again, she should immediately inform him. Eric hands her his card and offers assistance if she needs it. Upon returning home, April searches for news about the Turtles in the subway, only to discover that Donatello, one of the Turtles, has hacked her computer and sent her an address to meet them. She goes to the designated location alone, where the Turtles escort her to their lair. There, she meets Splinter, who remembers her from her time before the mutation. Splinter reveals that her father, Dr. O'Neill, was working with Eric and Shredder, but had discovered Shredder's evil plans.
This is crazy.
In an act of sacrifice, Dr. O'Neill burned down the lab, giving his life to protect his daughter. April rescued Splinter and the Turtles, taking them to the sewers for safety. The mutagen later took effect, turning Splinter into a walking and talking rat who raised the Turtles as his own sons. Continuing from where we left off, Splinter had tried to keep the Turtles away from the surface world, but eventually taught himself the art of ninjutsu. When he found a ninja book, he realized that in order for his sons to survive in the world, they needed to be able to protect themselves. He trained the Turtles in ninjutsu and armed them with their trademark weapons, Leonardo with katanas, Donatello with a bow staff, Raphael with scythes, and Michelangelo with nunchucks. Splinter expresses his gratitude to April for protecting them. Splinter reveals that Eric is the one who killed April's father and that Eric is actually working for Shredder. They discuss Eric's upgraded armor, which has multiple knives on each arm. The Foot Clan manages to track the Lair's location and infiltrates it, triggering an alarm that alerts the Turtles.
We gotta go! Go!
The Foot soldiers break in using a bomb, and a fight ensues between the Turtles and the soldiers. Splinter also joins the battle. Mikey guides April to a safe spot before returning to help his brothers. Shredder enters the lair, donning his advanced armor with numerous knives, and confronts Splinter. Splinter manages to evade Shredder's knives and land some hits of his own. Splinter tries to protect his sons by shutting the doors, but the Turtles lift him to witness Shredder grabbing Splinter and threatening to kill him unless the Turtles surrender their weapons.
Father will die.
They comply, but Shredder still strikes Splinter hard enough to incapacitate him. The soldiers use a cattle prod on Leo, Donnie, and Mikey, capturing them and subsequently blowing up the lair. Raph survives the explosion and, along with April, rushes Splinter to safety.
Let's go save my brothers.
Raph is determined to save his brothers and stop Shredder. Raph and April need to act quickly because if Eric manages to extract the mutagen from the Turtles, it could lead to the destruction of the city. April contacts Vern and convinces him to drive them to Eric's laboratory beneath his home.
Stayed with the vigilante squad. Drive!
In the laboratory, Sachs holds Leo, Donnie, and Mikey in cages, attempting to extract their blood-containing mutagen. Sachs and Shredder plan to infect the city with a toxin, quarantine it, and then use the mutagen as a cure while taking control of the affected people. Outside, Raph jumps out of the van and after dealing with the guards, bursts into the estate.
Glad you could join us.
Raph confronts Shredder on his own, while April tries to free the others by giving them an adrenaline injection. This injection helps them break free, and they join Raph in fighting Shredder before he manages to escape. The heroes hijack a truck to escape, with Cry and the foot soldiers in pursuit. The foot soldiers launch an RPG, hitting the truck and causing it to slide down a mountain. The turtles decide to slide down the mountain on their shells, taking out the pursuing Foot Clan trucks by slamming into them or flipping them over. As they slide, they approach a significant drop in the terrain. After Cry momentarily hucks onto Leo as he tries to save April and Vern, her truck tumbles over and crashes into a tree. Raph manages to pull Leo, April, and Vern to safety. They then head to the city to stop Shredder. Shredder and Sachs return to Sax's tower to release the toxin, while April and Vern search for the mutagen. The turtles confront Shredder, charging in with Mikey yelling "Cowabunga!" They engage in a fierce battle with Shredder, who proves to be a formidable opponent. Meanwhile, April successfully secures the mutagen, despite Vern being shot in the arm by Eric. The turtles work together to push Shredder off the roof. Donnie manages to stop the toxin release, and Shredder attempts to knock the top of the tower down. The turtles struggle to hold it back. April reaches the roof and distracts Shredder by showing him the mutagen. The top of the tower comes crashing down, and Shredder lunges at April, causing them both to hang on for dear life. The turtles try to save April, and Shredder attempts to finish them off. However, Leo throws his katana at Shredder, causing him to lose balance and fall to the ground. The top of the tower comes loose, but April and the turtles land safely.
We made it.
Raph admits that his brash behavior was driven by fear for his brothers, and he expresses his love for them. Mikey notices Raph crying, but Raph brushes it off. The turtles return to the sewers, and the citizens gather around Shredder, who slightly moves his hand with mutagen on his fingers. The turtles vanish before the humans can discover them and return to the sewers. They give Splinter the mutagen, and he begins to recover. Later, April meets with Vern, who awkwardly attempts to ask her on a date. However, their conversation is interrupted when the turtles arrive in their specially modified turtle van. Michelangelo accidentally blows up Vern's new car with a rocket. Before leaving, Mikey tries to serenade April with "Happy Together" by the turtles, much to the annoyance of his brothers and the amusement of April. As the police respond to the explosion, the turtles make their exit. With that, the movie comes to an end. If you are interested in such films, please proceed to the next video on the screen, and also share your thoughts about this film in the comments. Give us a like and subscribe. Goodbye.